Hey there everyone, welcome to this video. Let's get started with some code. Okay, so as you know, the linked list has a node which contains a data and a pointer to the next node. So first of all, we will create a class which will be a node. Okay, in the Q video I had used a function, so that is why I'm using a class format this time, so that you know both the formats. For seeing the functions code, you can go back to the Q's video. Okay, so here we will call a constructor, and in this constructor we will take a data and a next node which will be initially null. So here we will set this dot data equal to data and this dot next equal to next. So whenever we will create a node, we'll pass in the data and the next node, and the data of this class node will point to the data that we have passed, and similarly the next property. When you hover on this, you can see that it is saying node.next. Okay, so this is our node class. Now let's create a linked list, and this linked list will have a head node initially. So initially, whenever we will create a new linked list, each linked list will have its own head. So we'll initialize it to null. Okay, now let's create a linked list here. So let list is equal to new linked list and console.log list. So this will give back the object of a linked list, and that object will contain a head property. Node, see, it is a linked list object and it contains a head property which is initially null. Now let's go ahead and create some functions here. Now first of all, we will see insertion at the beginning of the linked list. Okay, so let me create a function, this dot insert at beginning, and that will be a function. Okay, so let's change this because we are using class type. This function will take our data, and then we will use this data to insert it inside the linked list. Now first of all, we'll create a node. Okay, so let's create a node, and we'll pass the data here. So now we have a new node with the given data of the linked list. Now we will change the pointer, so pointer to next, the pointer next of node, of this node, the node that we just created, okay, will be assigned to head. Okay, because initially when we will insert at beginning, then the head pointer will be pointing to the new node. Okay, so what we'll do is we will see we will say this dot head will be equal to node. Okay, so the new node that we have created, now our head is pointing to the new node, and before this what we will have to do is we will have to change the next of this new node that we have just created. So the next of new node will be pointing to the head. Okay, then we can remove the head and point it to our new node. So node dot next will be equal to this dot head. Okay, so our new node is inserted at the beginning of the linked list. Now what we'll do is we will return the head so that we know which is the head node, so that we can check whether our node is inserted properly or not. So we'll return this dot head. Now let's see this. We'll use list dot insert at beginning, and we'll call the function with the data 1. Okay, now let's print the list here. We will print list dot head. Just a minute. Let's print this. So see, our head is now a node. Okay, and it contains a data 1 and its next value is null. Now this is because we don't have any other element and we have only one node. We have inserted only one node. Now let's insert something else. Let me insert 10 first, and then we'll insert 1. So now our head will be pointing to, see, our head is a node object and it has data 1 because we are inserting 1 later on, and the next is pointing to the previous node that we had inserted here. So see, this is how things work in linked list. Now suppose we have to insert something at the end of the linked list. Okay, so we'll create a function insert at end, and we can directly use this syntax also along with the data of type any. Okay, we cannot declare type here because we are using JavaScript. Now suppose we have our data and we want to insert it at the end. So first of all we will have to traverse till the end node, and then we will, what we'll do is we'll point the next of the end node to the new node and the next of the new node to the null. Okay, so let's do it step by step. Let's create a new node first. Let new node is equal to node, and we'll use the new keyword. We'll pass the data here. So our new node is created. Now what we'll do is we'll have to traverse first of all. Okay, so let's see the use case when the list is empty. So when the list will be empty, our head will be null. Okay, so what we'll do is, if head is null, if this dot head is not true, that means it is null. We will simply do what we were doing in insert at beginning. So this dot head will be equal to node, and we will return the head node. Now suppose if the head is not null, okay, so there are elements inside the linked list. Now what we'll have to do is, we will traverse to the list and reach the end node until the next of the node is null. So let's write a loop for that. Now for the loop part, we will take a temporary variable let temp, and we will point it to the head. Okay, because what we are going to do is, we are going to increase the head and reach until we got the next as null. So what we will do here is, let temp is equal to null, and then we will start a while loop, while temp dot next is not equal to null. Okay, so until we reach the null pointer, what we will do is, we will keep increasing the temp. So temp dot next. Okay, great. Now our temp variable will store the last node. Now what we have to do is simply change temp dot next is equal to new node, and then return the head. So temp dot next equal to new node. Okay, and then I will return the head. So you should understand what is going on here. What I have done is, I have taken a temporary variable and pointed it to head, because we cannot increase the head. If we increase the head, then our linked list starting point will be lost. So I have taken a temporary variable and I have started a while loop. Okay, so first of all, it will see here, temp dot next is equal to null. No, it is pointing to a node which contains 15 data. So it will increase the value of temp to this node, and similarly it will go until this node till it finds that temp dot next is null. Now in the next step, what I am doing is, I am changing the next of this node to the new node that we have created, and then I'm returning the head. Okay, so let's see, let's insert list dot insert at end, and this is a function which will take 4. Okay, so our linked list should look something like this. At the beginning it should be 1, then it should be 10, and then 4. Okay, so let's see if this is working or not. Let me change this. So see, our head is pointing to 1, and the next of 1 is pointing to 10, just as here, just as we expected. And the 10 is pointing to 4, and the next of 4 is pointing to null. So this is our linked list insertion at starting and beginning with two different syntax. Okay. Okay, let me close this. So this is a different syntax and this is a different syntax. This will directly keep it as a function, and this is a variable which is a function. Okay, so in the next video we will see insertion at anywhere inside between the linked list. Okay, so it will be like anywhere in between at any position. Okay, so that's it for this video. Let's see you guys in the next video, and please subscribe to the channel.